What's up everyone? The second episode of season 49 of Survivor has just premiered, and from eating worms to stealing shoes to reading the fire vibes of someone's aura, we've got so much to talk about, so welcome to your Survivor Breakdown. Right before we get started, if you are new around here, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm here every single week breaking down Survivor until the end of the season, plus all the best TV comes on in the fall, guys. It's time to get cozy, get on the couch, get yourself a nice warm drink and cozy on up to the best shows on the box. Yes, I just said the box like I am from the 1980s, but I do not care. I'm also covering The Amazing Race with my wonderful spouse Sam, and the challenge Vets and New Threats is heating up as the season goes on, so lots and lots of coverage for everybody to enjoy as we head into the fall. I'm also going to ask you all to hit the like button. It takes all of 0.2 seconds just to click that little thumbs up down there, and I truly mean it when I say those likes really do go a long way as a smaller content creator. So there's two things there, folks: subscribe, like. Let's get to the breakdown. Okay, we are going to waste no more time and jump right in. What an episode that was. I would just want to preface this with saying I am enjoying this season more than I expected to. If you guys know me, you know that I have clocked out of the new era for a second, but I've jumped back in, and I am very pleasantly surprised with this season. It also helps that a TV Talks with Tom viewer is on this season in the form of Sophie on the Kele tribe. Couldn't be prouder. She is absolutely killing it out there. So it feels like Kele tribe is the one we should start with. And we open up the episode with Jeremiah eating worms. Oh my, I've got to say, as unconventional as that is, I think it's for us, if we're looking at somebody who could win the game, you know, somebody goes, I stayed out here all this time starving, eating worms. It's a little thing you can add to your resume, as stupid as it might seem. It's something, right? You know, because if you get to the end and you've got the exact same resume as somebody else, the kicker might be the fact that you're eating worms while you're out here. Sounds crazy, but, you know, expect the unexpected. I'm going to throw in Big Brother's motto there. But yeah, that was kind of vile, but also it might work out for him because he wants to become the first male Taurus winner of Survivor. Don't know if we mentioned that last week. But yes, Jeremiah did survive this episode, so he is 1 week closer to becoming the first male Taurus winner of Survivor. I don't know what we all think of that, but yes, I repeat, Jeremiah is 1 week closer to becoming the first male Taurus winner of Survivor. Then we're going to talk about Annie on the Kele tribe, because man, this Kele tribe is, it's been a little chaotic, hasn't it, for the first 2 weeks. We've seen some solid gameplay from them, but also it's very, very messy. And I'll remind everybody, it's only 5 days in at this point. 5 freaking days. It feels way longer. But Annie said she wants to go to tribal, and the poeticness of this was the episode she ended up being voted out the tribe. And this lady sat here saying, I want to go to tribal, I like the mess. And she really was calling herself the puppet master, and I was just in disbelief. She was trying to talk to Sophie and Jeremiah to plant seeds about getting Jake out, and Jake and Sophie are like that. They're like besties, and they ain't going to turn on each other. So Annie was, quite frankly, on another planet, thinking that she was going to try and do that. Also, a quick shout out to Jake. He stopped by in the comment section last week. So Jake, if you're here again this week, hi bud, you are killing it out there, and please keep stealing shoes because it is giving me life. Thank you, Jake, for stopping by in the comment section last week. But yes, she then went to approach Alex, and Alex turned around and said, you surely can't believe that Sophie's going to vote out Jake, right? And it was just the perfect tone to set the episode, and I think it just established the dynamics of this tribe perfectly. It was almost metaphorical for how this season's going to pan out. You've got Sophie in the driver's seat. You've got Jake also in the driver's seat being a chaos agent. You've got Alex trying to scramble to a little bit more power at the top, even though he's not quite there. He's kind of third on the list. You've got Jeremiah on his own planet at the bottom of the 4 eating worms. And then you've got Annie at the very bottom thinking she's the puppet master. What a tribe. Sophie did clarify in a confessional that she and Jake are very tight and that they are running the tribe. I don't think this came as a surprise to anybody. But then something that did come as a surprise was Alex finding a beware advantage. He basically finds out that if their tribe loses immunity, he's going to be given an immunity clue and he has to go find that immunity idol if he wants to keep his vote. If he does not find the idol, he will not get his vote. So this tribe did end up losing immunity this episode, so we're going to talk about that very, very soon on his hunt for the idol. But yeah, he basically, it's the old beware thing, isn't it? If you open that thing up, there's an iota that comes with it, and the iota this time is find the idol or you don't get to vote. Let's jump over to the red tribe now, which is the Ulie tribe, and this is home to my winner pick of the season, Savannah. I also think there's going to be some great players in here that make it very deep, such as the Riz God. I think Nate might have a decent run, but there's chaos on this tribe, that's for sure. We got to talk about that because Nate really felt out the loop as the older guy on the tribe, and he's not even that old, you know. I'm pretty sure. How old is Nate? Nate is, okay, get this, guys. Okay, Nate's 47. That's not even that old, and he felt really, really out the loop because. And get this, it was just slang after slang after slang of Gen Z. He's struggling making space for everyone's feelings and the vibes, and things are being fire while navigating auras and witnessing cinema. It was tiring. Listen, I'm Gen Z, but holy moly, I find it to be a little much sometimes. As a Gen Z myself, I sometimes feel like people lay it on a bit thick. And it feels a little disingenuous. And I'm not saying that this is the case with this tribe, but maybe a little bit. I'd be buddying up with Nate, even though I'd probably be the youngest person on the tribe. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough because, you know, we've all been in situations in life where we feel like the odd man out, or, you know, we've been in a group setting and everyone's talking about something and we're like, huh, what? I don't quite get this. And you're doing your best to mask and blend in, and Nate is doing a magnificent job of that because that is difficult as hell. And we all know that with these shows, whether it's Big Brother or Survivor, they're not usually very catering towards older people. The casts tend to be younger folk through and through, and especially in the new era, it feels like everyone's a carbon copy of one another, whereas like back in the day, even if everyone was younger, it still felt like you had Joe from Tennessee and Cassidy from Utah and this person and Joanne from New York, whereas now it's just 17 people from New York and 17 people from California. So it's a little hard for Nate to navigate that because he's the old guy through and through while everyone's talking about Riz and Aura. And as funny as it is, it's tough. It's a tough position to be in him. So he's got more of an uphill battle than the rest of that tribe. So I want to see how he can navigate it. But the thing with this is he's got a better story, because if he can get to the end after navigating through all that, it looks way more impressive than someone who was just able to blend in from the start and not have to navigate anything uphill or have to, you know, adapt to anything. And we've got to remind ourselves that the motto of Survivor is outwit, outplay, outlast. And straight away in the deep end, Nate is having to outlast, being the odd one out. And he actually managed to get himself into the core alliance, which, I was just so happy. Listen, anybody who has worked on Spider-Man 2 with Dr. Octopus and Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, you automatically get my rooting card. That movie has brought me so much joy, and if you were a part of making that, I'm rooting for you. So Nate, you got this. But the core alliance there was Rizzo, Nate, Savannah and Shannon. They joined together as a four. I was so glad to see Nate in there. I had no surprise that Rizzo and Savannah were in there. I think they are the two biggest characters of the season, or going to be at least. They already are, I'm not going to lie. They've already cemented themselves as that. I think Jake and Sophie are also up there as well. But yeah, I don't know where this Ulie tribe's going. That four I see making a deep run. Maybe an early betrayal along the way. They might cut Shannon on Nate. We'll see. But my gut is saying Nate is going to make it far. But he's got a lot to overcome, and I'm very impressed. In terms of who could be eliminated first from the Ulie tribe, I'm putting my money on Joanne just because he kind of seems like the odd man out. You'd think it was Nate, and I think that's what they're going to keep people thinking. Saying, we're going to vote Nate tonight. Put Nate's name down when we go to tribal. But they're actually going to vote out Joanne. He is he's a little slimy. You know, he's going off to try and collect firewood, that he comes back with 2 twigs. He's clearly looking for advantages and idols, and Savannah clocked it. Savannah clocked it like that. And the worst part about it was he used Savannah's bag instead of his own. Talk about lack of self-awareness. That man is on a one-way train to Ponderosa. Let's take a brief look at the Heena tribe this episode. They were on top. They absolutely smashed this episode, and therefore they didn't get a lot of airtime, because it's easy to tell on which tribe gets more airtime, who's going to tribal council. So I knew early on in the episode it wasn't going to be Heena. I knew it was going to be Ulie or Kele, and but we did get a little glimpse into there. There's one point I want to make. Stephen last week, I was thinking, this guy looks familiar. And it wasn't the case of I knew him from somewhere or I've seen him in something else. I clocked this week. If we've got any American Pie fans out there, anybody who grew up in the 90s, grew up in the 80s, or the 2000s, and you know American Pie, you might know American Pie if you grew up in the 70s. And there's a character called Sherman on it, and he sometimes goes by the Shermanator. I looked at Stephen and I went, that's who it reminds me of. Stephen looks like Sherman from American Pie, one of my favourite movies. Respect me. I really thought he looks like Sherman, and I had to bring that up. But Matt, Christina, and Stephen did get a core 3 going on, and they were like, we need a 4th. But the problem is, you don't tell somebody, we need you to be our 4th. Oh, to quote Angela on Big Brother, Matt, what are you doing? He approached MC and said, we have a solid 3 going on already, and we'd like you to be a 4th. What? I jumped out my seat when he said that. Are you for real? Okay, I like Matt a lot, but if he continues to make blunders like this, you gotta cut him loose, because he's gonna drag down the whole ship. It was time for the first journey of the season, and this entailed one member from each tribe going to meet with one another to compete in a challenge. So from the Ulie tribe, Jawan decided to step up, and then from the Heena tribe it was Matt, and then from Kele it was Jake. So it was 3 solid competitors going in. So they get to this clearing in the jungle, and I thought it was cool that they got to interact. I think that adds another layer to the game, because you can have a quick, little socialise, little strategy session with them. It adds another layer to the game, and I like that, the fact that they were allowed to interact and kind of bond with one another. It reminds me of a show in the UK called I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Initially, the 2 tribes, or not 2 tribes, there's 2 camps when you first start out, and they go to compete against one another, but you can still feel the dynamics building between the 2 as it goes on. So that was cool to see that. But yes, there were 3 baskets, and they had these gigantic coconuts. It took muscle, it really did, and they had to throw these coconuts into each other's baskets, and the 2 baskets that snapped first would be the losers, and the last person with their basket standing would be the winner. And after a battle of the Titans, Jawan was the one to walk away with the victory, and then came the kicker. He had to decide if, because basically the shock first was the fact that these the other 2 guys were allowed to be sent back to camp without losing a vote, which is a first in New Era Survivor. And then Jawan basically had the power to decide, do I give another tribe a disadvantage that would give us a leg up in the next immunity challenge, or do I take an advantage for myself by stealing Matt or Jake's vote? And Jawan ultimately decided to help the tribe. I weighed it out in my head, and I thought to myself, okay, this guy's kind of on the bottom of the tribe right now, and even if he did steal a vote from Matt or from Jake, he could have his own vote, his stolen vote, and let's just say he could scoop up Sage's vote as well. That would make 3. But then we've got the core 4 that we just talked about earlier of Rizzo, Savannah, Nate, and Shannon. So even so, it would be a 4-3 vote. So I figured in this scenario, it's probably best for him to help the tribe, because that tribe could vote him out if he ends up going to tribal council, no matter if he has the stolen vote or not. So I do think that was the wise move there. So well done, Jawan, for that. And then we got to the challenge clearing, and he gave it to the Heena tribe, and they were very pissed. I've got to admit, they took it very, very personally. Christina, I've got to say, I really liked her on the first week, and I'm not saying I don't like her now, but her reaction was very over the top, I would say. The way she was like, shocker, I was like, Bad social move immediately there. People are going to remember that. People are going to go back to camp and go, did you see the way she reacted? Like, everybody else took it on their chin, and Christina was making a huge thing about it. And, you know, even though she might be feeling that way, it's not, you got to press it down. That's Survivor. You got to push it. Because I can also have a big mouth sometimes, and if I was on Survivor, I would have moments where I would want to blurt out and say something like that, but you don't. You bite your lip. You bite your lip and get your revenge by voting them out later. And Christina doesn't seem to have that concept grasped on, so she loses a few brownie points from me just as a player. Not on a personal note. I think she's charming on a personal note, but yeah, that was very telling of where she's going in the game. She's going to be somebody playing with emotions. But yeah, she took that way too personally. Like, Jawan had to give it to one tribe. What's he going to do, you know? And they just took it so personally. But it did light a fire under their asses because they absolutely tanked it. They absolutely bossed it through. Despite the advantage, they had to carry 20 pounds of coconuts on them. Plus, they had to navigate 10 keys rather than one. And they still beat the other tribe. They won immunity and a fishing kit. Unbelievable. The Heena tribe has got spirit, and I don't think they're going to be defeated until there's a tribe swap. So we'll see how long that one lasts for. But then the tribe to come in second was Ulie, sending Kele right back to tribal council. There's one moment I want to single out in the challenge though, because Sophie, I don't know if anybody caught Sophie's knee. Me and Sam were almost throwing up in the living room watching that one because it looked like she had a skin flap just flapping in the wind off of her knee. I saw Sophie clarify on social media. It was a band-aid. So everyone calm down. It's okay. Take a deep breath. It wasn't a skin flap. I'm going to sleep better tonight. Now, the last segment of the episode centred around the Kele tribe deciding who they were going to send home, and with delusion all over the place, it was anyone's game. And I'm not going to lie, going into the tribal, I really thought it could have been Sophie that was going home. So we're going to talk about Alex's plot for a second. But yeah, Annie immediately, she tried to take the bull by the horns and said, okay, she switched up from Jake and said, I want Sophie out now. And then Alex, meanwhile, he's gone looking for his Beware idol that we talked about earlier for the Beware advantage. And Jake joins in. And Sophie joins in. Then it becomes a fully fledged family hunt for the idol in the jungle. Talk about kumbaya. And then Sophie finds the box first. But of course, with Alex and Jake in the area, she's like struggling to get this box open. So she covers it over with leaves. And then Jeremiah's coming down the trail. It was just chaos. But then because Sophie couldn't find that moment to open the box by herself, Alex then started rustling through the leaves, and then he found the box, and it was chaos. And then Jeremiah realising that the three people in his alliance found it first, it kind of made him realise he's on the bottom. And I said that before he even walked up the trail. I said, this solidifies to me that Jeremiah is number 4. But I think Alex also started to clock on that Sophie and Jake are like that. And he is kind of sitting there thinking, oh dear, if we just, vote out Annie, because he's also tight with Annie, then this could be, do you know when the ghosts visit Scrooge at Christmas? This is the ghost of Christmas future. He's realising, oh dear, if I don't do something about this now, then this is the future. And I think that's why he started to kick into gear with the idea of getting Sophie out. He wanted to use the idol, and he also was talking to Annie about putting the vote on Sophie. But it seemed like the deck was completely stacked against him, but the edit did genuinely make it look like Sophie could have been going home. But flash forward to Tribal, it was a 4-1 vote against Annie. Sophie got 1 vote from Annie. So that tribe is definitely more solid now. It's going to be interesting going forward, that one, because Alex and Jeremiah need to buddy together if they want to stand a chance against Jake and Sophie. But there's also the opportunity for Alex to make it 1 week deeper if he just votes out Jeremiah, because that tribe's down to 4 now going into next week. And if they hit Tribal Council again next week, that's going to be a 3-man tribe. And I almost guarantee, unless they make a move, Jeremiah will be the next one to go. And then, God forbid, they have to go to Tribal again the week after, it will be Alex. And it's that ghost of Christmas future I've been talking about. They need to make a move now if they want to do it and get Sophie or Jake out, because they are running this tribe. They are doing fantastically well. And Jeff brought up a great point in Tribal. He said, tribes that don't start out too well, but the few remaining members who do end up making it to the merge have a track record of going really far. And that's usually the case, because when you get to a merge, you go, oh, there's only 2 Kele, it's fine, they don't have the numbers. But then there's 6 Heena, and you go, we've got to break up Heena. Let's take another Heena out. Let's take another Heena out. Oh, this person on Ulie's pissing me off. Oh my god, it's the final 6 and 2 Keles are there. That's what can happen. And I'm telling you, Sophie and Jake have a fantastic edit, and they are looking to be players this season. I 100% seen both of them make it to the merge. It would be a blind side of the century if both of them went or one of them went. But I did have that feeling in my gut yesterday that Sophie could have went. But Survivor, it's keeping us guessing. But Sophie and Jake did live another week. And again, in terms of the power rankings, that was Sophie and Jake's episode once again. That is all of your Survivor breakdown for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching. I certainly enjoyed the episode. I am invested in this season now. I can't wait to see where it goes. I'm already looking at the characters of the season, and I feel like I can make up people who are going to make it deep in the game. I'm thinking Savannah. I'm thinking the Riz God. I'm thinking Nate. I'm thinking Sophie. I'm thinking Jake. And I'm going to throw... I got to throw someone in the Heena tribe in, right? Even though the Heena tribe's given, like... not a lot. They dominated in the challenge, but I feel like the personalities are a little bit either forced or bleak. A little bit of Shady Tom to start off your Thursdays. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I appreciate every single last one of you. Let me know your winner pick in the comment section below. I want to see if we can come back here at the end of the season and see who got it right. So lock in your winner pick down there. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope that you're all staying safe, staying positive, and staying healthy out there. And remember to be kind to one another. But in the meantime, please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, do all of that wonderful stuff. But until your next Survivor breakdown, I've been your host, Tom VASEY. Good night.